Hey there and welcome back to the channel. It's Bryson with Dimes for Dollars, and in today's hunt we have two more boxes of pennies. Hunt number 72 coming up, boxes 149 and 150. We're hoping to get some new additions for the books. We had a really nice hunt last time, getting 102 wheat cents and one new addition, so hopefully these boxes are related. I popped the top of this first one and I didn't see any wheat cent enders, but we had the similar kind of luck on our last hunt with wheat cent enders. At least for the first box, but it paid off in the end with all the wheat cents. So I'll flip this box over and check the other side for any wheat cent enders, and then we'll get right into the hunt. Well, the back side of the box is way better. We got 3 wheat cent enders. Very first one is going to come on the very first roll, and this one's pretty damaged by probably the rolling process, but it's going to be a 1955 most likely out of Denver. See if we can get to focus there. You can see the date's pretty smashed, but it looks like a pretty nice coin otherwise. Next wheat cent is going to be reverse showing right back here, so we won't know till we get to it. But as for the third wheat cent ender, it's right over here, and I think it's going to be another 1955. Let's go ahead and get started on roll number 1 and see if there's any more inside. Well, it turns out I was wrong about that first wheat cent ender. Turns out it's actually a 1959 out of Denver. You can see it definitely looked like a 5 there for the last digit, but upon a closer inspection, that is actually going to be a 9. Just to verify, it is a memorial cent, so unfortunately not a wheat cent. That being said though, there are 2 wheat cents in this roll. The first one was right back here, and that one's going to be a 1945 Philadelphia. Next wheat cent is right back here towards the end, and that one's going to be a 1952 Denver. Very next roll, and we got 2 more wheat cents. The first one is going to be a 1944 from San Francisco, but the second wheat cent looks really nice. Let's go ahead and see what the date is. It has some really nice detail on the wheat stalks. Alright, that's going to be a 1953 Philadelphia. Not a date I see too often. Another really nice find, and we're only 2 rolls in. Roll number 3, and we got another roll with 2 wheat cents in it. The first one of this roll is going to be a 1950 Denver, and the next one's back here. That one's going to be a 1953 out of San Francisco. 2 rolls later, and we got 2 more wheat cents. The first one's going to be a 1946 from Denver, and the next one's going to be back here. And this one's going to be a 1955 from Philadelphia. Very next roll, and we got 3 more wheat cents. The first 2 are back to back. We have a 1953 Denver, and right behind it, this one's going to be a 1946 from the looks of it, out of Denver as well. Last wheat cent's going to be back here, and this one's going to be a 1953 out of Denver. Well, roll number 8, and we have not 1, not 2, but 5 wheat cents in this roll. Our first one's going to be a 1944 Philadelphia in pretty nice shape. The next one's only a few coins behind it. That one's going to be a 1944 Philadelphia as well. Next one I can see is right back here sticking out. And that one's going to be a third 1944 out of Philadelphia. Next 2 are back here. And that one's going to be a 1946 from Denver. And the last wheat cent of the roll, if we can focus it here, it's going to be a 1952 from Denver as well. Very next roll, and we got 3 more wheat cents, and this first one's going to be our first pre-40s. We have a 1937 from Denver. Really nice find there. Our next wheat cent is right back here. And that one's going to be hard to see. See if we can get a better angle on it. Alright, 1946 from Denver. The last wheat cent is right back here. And that's going to be a 1940 Philadelphia. Roll number 10, and I'm really excited because we have another pre-40s find here. This one's a really nice one too, 1936 from San Francisco. Also really excited because that's wheat cent number 20 already. We're only 10 rolls in, so that means if we keep this rate up, we might have last hunt's total by the end of the first box. That's awesome. Let's move on to roll number 11 and see how many we can find in that one. Well, the very next roll is going to give us one more wheat cent. This one's from the 40s, and it's going to be a 1949 out of Denver. Very next roll, and we got two more wheat cents. The first one is going to be a 40s find, 1946 Philadelphia. And the next one is back here. That's going to be a 1952 out of Denver. Roll number 14, and we have another 50s find. And this one's going to be a 1954 out of Denver. Very next roll, and we got two more. First one's going to be a 1952 out of San Francisco. And the next wheat cent is back here. And that one's going to be a 1946 Philadelphia. Roll 17, and this time we have a 40s wheat cent, a 1944 San Francisco. Two rolls later, and we got two more wheat cents here. The first one is going to be a 1953 from Denver. And the next wheat cent is right back here. And that one's going to be a 1958 out of Denver. Roll number 20, and we got three more wheat cents here, which puts our total up now to 32. We have a 1953 from Denver up front here, with a 57 Denver not too far behind, and a third wheat cent right back here. And that's going to be another pre-40s find, 1938 this time, out of Philadelphia. Well, the very next roll is going to have three more wheat cents. Our first one of the roll is going to be a 1946 out of Denver, followed up by wheat cent number 2 of the roll. And this one's going to be a 1958 from Philadelphia. Third wheat cent was right back here. There it is. That one's going to be a 1953 Philly as well. Roll 22, and we have another really nice looking one here. Really nice detail on it, 1953 out of Denver. Very next roll, and we have another 50s find. This one's going to be a pretty nice one from 1958 out of Denver. Roll 26, and we have a really nice Canadian cent this time. Nice older one. That's the Laureate Portrait or Young Head. Let's go ahead and see what the date is. Alright, that's going to be the last year of the Young Head portrait, 1964. Very next roll, and we have a 40s wheat cent this time. A 1946 out of Denver. Roll 28, and we got two more wheat cents. The first one is going to be a 1955 San Francisco. And the second wheat cent, right back here, it's going to be a 1953 San Francisco. Very next roll, and we got one more wheat cent. This one's another 50s wheat cent too, 1953 San Francisco. Roll number 30, and wheat cent number 42 is going to be that ender, and turns out it's going to be a 1957 out of Philadelphia. Roll 31, and we have another 40s wheat cent, another 1946 out of Denver. Roll number 32, and we have another 30s find here, another 1937 out of Denver. We also have a second wheat cent right back here, and that one definitely looks old. Let's go ahead and flip it and see. And it is another old find. First one from the 20s, a 1929 out of Philadelphia. Very next roll, and we got two more wheat cents. The first one is a pretty sharp looking 1944 from San Francisco. Really nice detail on it. Next wheat cent is just right back here. And that one's going to be another 40s find, a 1946 Philadelphia. Very next roll, and we have another 50s find. This one's going to be a 1952 from Denver. Roll number 35, and we have another 50s find. Another 1958 out of Philadelphia. Well, the very next roll had that wheat cent ender with a reverse side showing, and it had a lot more friends in it. We have a total of 5 wheat cents here. The first one being this ender. Let's go ahead and see what the date is. And that one's going to be a 1946 San Francisco. Next wheat cent's right back here. That one's going to be a 1955 Wheat cent number 3 of the roll is going to be a 1952 from San Francisco. And the 4th and 5th are right next to each other. We have a 1953 San Francisco and a 1946 out of Philadelphia. Very next roll, and we got 3 more wheat cents. The first one is going to be a 1953 from San Francisco. The next 2 being right back here. Wheat cent number 2 of the roll is going to be a 1946 from Denver. And the last wheat cent back here is going to be a 1953 from San Francisco. Very next roll, and we got another pre-40s find. That's our 6th of the hunt so far. It's going to be another 1938 Philadelphia. Roll 39, and we got 2 more wheat cents here. The first one is going to be a 1944 Philadelphia, and the next wheat cent is almost right behind it. That one's going to be a 1951 out of Denver. Roll number 40, and wheat cent number 61 is going to be another 1946 from Philadelphia. Roll 41, and the wheat cents just keep on coming. We got 3 more in this roll, and the first one's going to be a 1949 from Denver, followed up by a wheat cent back here. This one's going to be a 1946 Denver, and the last wheat cent of the roll is going to be a 1944 from Philadelphia. 2 rolls later, and we got 2 more wheat cents. The first one is going to be a 1946 from Denver, followed up back here by the second wheat cent, and that's going to be a 1946 from Philadelphia. Very next roll, and we have another 1953, and this one's going to be out of San Francisco. Roll 48, and we got another 50s find, another 1953, but this time out of Denver. Very next roll is going to have 3 more wheat cents. The first one is going to be another 1953 out of San Francisco. Next wheat cent is right back here, and it's got some funky toning to it. Let's see what the date is. Alright, some interesting toning on the obverse too. 1944 San Francisco. Now on to the third wheat cent. We have it right back here. And this one's going to be a 1944 out of Denver. Very last roll of the first box, and we got another 40s wheat cent. Another 1944 out of San Francisco. That makes 72 wheat cents on the hunt so far, just through 1 box alone, and that is a new record for me. Previously it was 61, so quite the substantial improvement and a really awesome hunt. We got so many 30s and even a 20s find, as well as some really nice 40s and 50s. Let's hope we can continue on box number 2. So I'll get that open, and I'll bring you back once we find out if we have any enders or on our first find. Alright, well I just flipped it over and we got 3 more wheat cent enders. We have a reverse ender right there. We also have a second one right back there. And we have a third one, which I'm sure it's going to be a 40s wheat cent. Don't know about the date yet or the mint mark, but that is a good sign. Let's get started on roll number 1. Roll number 2 of box 2. And we have our first wheat cent of this box. It's going to be a 1954 from San Francisco. 2 rolls later, and we got 2 more wheat cents. The first one is going to be a 1953 from Philadelphia. And the next wheat cent's right back here. And this one's going to be a 1953 as well, this time out of San Francisco. Very next roll, and we have 4 more wheat cents. We have one up here, a 1952 from Denver, and the other 3 wheat cents are all back to back. We have a 1957 from Denver. Right behind it, another wheat cent, 1944 from San Francisco. And the last wheat cent of the roll is going to be a 1954 out of Denver. Roll 7 of the second box, and we have another 40s wheat cent here. Another 1944 from Philadelphia. Roll number 11 had that wheat cent ender with the reverse showing, so let's go ahead and flip it here. It's the only wheat cent in the roll. And it's going to be a 1953 out of San Francisco. Very next roll, and we got two more wheat cents. The first one is going to be a 1952 out of San Francisco, and the next one is right back here. And this one's going to be a 50s wheat cent as well, 1954 out of Denver. Two rolls later, and we have another 50s wheat cent. We have another 1953 out of Denver. Roll 16 of box 2, and we have another 50s wheat cent here, this time 1951 out of Denver. Roll 17, and we have another pre-40s find along with two other wheat cents. Our pre-40s find is going to be a 1937 from San Francisco. Second wheat cent of the roll is back here. That one's going to be a 1956 Denver. And the third wheat cent of this roll is right back here. And that one's going to be a 1946 Denver. Roll 19, and we have another 40s wheat cent here. Another 1944 Philadelphia. Roll 21, and we got three more wheat cents here. And this first one is really nice. There's some really nice toning going on there, green and pink. 1958 Denver is the date. Our next wheat cent is right back here. And this one's going to be an earlier one, 1940 from Denver. And the last wheat cent is just right back here at the end. And that one's going to be a 1944 out of Denver as well. Halfway point of the second box, and we got one more wheat cent. And this one's going to be a 1944 from Philadelphia. Very next roll, we have a 50s wheat cent this time. It's going to be a 1952 from San Francisco. Roll 28 had that 40s wheat cent ender, and it turns out it's going to be a 1946 from Philadelphia. We also had a second wheat cent in the roll right back here. And this one's going to be a 1951 from Denver. Roll number 30, and we have two more wheat cents here. The first one is going to be a 1958 out of Denver, and the next one's just right back here. And this one's going to be a 1947 Philadelphia. Roll 37, and we have another 40s find. This one's going to be a 1945 out of Philadelphia. Roll 42, and we have three more wheat cents here. The first one's going to be another 40s find, another 1944 Philadelphia. Our next wheat cent is right back here. And that one's going to be a 54 out of San Francisco. Last wheat cent is right back here. And that's going to be another 1952 from San Francisco as well. Roll 48, and we have three more wheat cents here. We have a 1952 from San Francisco up front, followed up by another wheat cent right back here. That one's going to be a 1946 from San Francisco. And this last wheat cent is in really nice shape. There it is. Let's see if we can get a better look at it. That is a really nice wheat cent. And that one's going to be a 1946 Denver. Nice earlier date there. Three more wheat cents, and that one might be an upgrader. Go ahead and add up to the board. We got two rolls left to go. Very last roll of the hunt, and we got one more wheat cent, making for wheat cent number 106 on the hunt. This one's going to be another 1944 out of Philadelphia. Well, another hunt draws to a close, and we got a lot of very nice finds today. We got 39 Esmond Memorial cents, along with a handful of Canadian cents, and one 1964 Younghead cent in really nice shape. We also got 12 shiny copper cents, and some of these are in really nice shape as well. We got a really nice 1960 Philadelphia and a 74S, which I don't see in this nice a shape too often. Moving on to the wheat cents, we got a lot today. We got 53 from the 50s, with these two being the best, this Rainbow Tone 1958 Denver and this 1953 Philadelphia, which I went ahead and checked the book, and that's going to actually be an upgrader. So I'll do that in a minute. But moving on, we also got 46 40s wheat cents with an upgrader here, the 46 Denver, and an interesting toner, the 44 San Francisco. Moving on to the 30s wheat cents, we had six. We had a 1936 from San Francisco in pretty nice shape, a 37 out of Denver, two 37s out of San Francisco, and two 1938 Philadelphias. Our oldest one of the hunt was a 1929 out of Philadelphia as well. We had a really good hunt today with 106 total wheat cents. We had 72 in the first box alone and 34 in the second. We outdid our last hunt by 4 wheat cents, but either way, over 100 wheat cents in 2 boxes is epic. Really nice finds today. Let's go ahead and make those 2 upgrades. Well, we're back now with the album, and here's our first upgrade of the day. You can see the 1953 Philadelphia we found today is in much better shape than the one we had before. Still has a bit of mint luster as well, so we'll definitely be swapping those 2 out. As for our next one, we had this 46 Denver, and it has some really nice detail on it. But what I like the most is the reverse. It is in fantastic shape. So I'll make the swap there, make the swap over there, and that's going to do it for today's hunt. So I hope y'all enjoyed. It was a lot of fun doing today, and we got a lot of wheat cents. Hopefully we can find more boxes like this in the future, but until then, happy hunting, and thanks for watching.